I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the True North Racing Podcast, presented by Driving with Haley. I'm your host, John Morrison. Welcome back to part 2 of our Champions episode. Guys, I'm excited for this one. We got a great guest list coming on in just a little bit. First, we're going to kick it off with Lucas Finnegan here in a few minutes. Guys, this is one of the funnest things I get to do. Tonight we got Lucas Finnegan, who is the Junior Late Model champion over at Peterborough Speedway. Then we'll have Austin Etsell from Throttle Motor Speedway. He was the Fun Stock champion up there. If you guys see it on Facebook, we got a little bit of a change up tonight. We actually have Ryan Kimball joining us instead of Ray Morneau in the third slot. We actually are going to have to move our fourth guest, Hoppy Hopkins, to another night. And then, of course, we're going to wrap it off with Matt Langford. He was the Bone Stock champion down at Delaware Speedway. So we got a great lineup for you guys tonight. We're going to learn all about him. Let's get in. Let's bring in Lucas right now. Joining us as our first guest of our Champions at part 2 of our Champions episode, we got Lucas Finnegan. Lucas, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's kick it off. How was your 2024 season?
It was good. We won 5 races this season and wrecked once, but we got back out there and won the championship by 3 points.
3 points. So going into the final night, how close was it? Was it still 3 points, or was it like, what was the points battle going in?
Yeah, the points battle going into championship clash was about 30 points.
Oh, wow.
But I sadly got disqualified.
Uh-oh, why'd you get disqualified?
For having my weights in the wrong spot.
That's not good.
Yep.
Other than that, man, you won the championship this year, which is awesome. For anyone who's listening right now or watching, how old are you? I gotta know. You may be our youngest champion we've had on the show.
I am 11 years old.
I'm going to have to go back because I think you may beat out one of our other or one of our other guys who was on previously. I can't remember how old he was. It was Thomas Wunsch, though. So I'll have to go back and take a look at that. But anyways, over the course of the 2024 season, going into the season, what was your mindset going in? Did you have ideas that you wanted to go win the championship, or was it just to go have fun?
It was to go win the championship because in 2025 we were going to go travel to some different tracks, and would you look at that, now we're track champions at Peterborough Speedway.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. And I see you got a Leaf sitting in the corner behind you there. Did you win that this year at Peterborough?
I won it last year at Peterborough Speedway in the Autumn Colors Classic.
Nice. That's awesome. So obviously winning the championship is fun. It's awesome. You must have been pretty cool going into school the next, when you did and go like, I'm a champion in my racing division. How excited are you that you won the championship?
Very excited, honestly. I thought it was going to be a lot harder to beat some of those competitive drivers out on track, but it actually went well, and a couple races were battles, but a couple races were pretty good.
Well, that's all right then. You said you had a low light that you wrecked in the season. What happened there? How how did you guys rally to get back out?
So I was starting 10th going into that feature, and I got stuck on the high side for about 8 or 9 laps, and then came some wreckage. A car slid up the track and then hit me. I went around, and then a car um, hit me hard behind and bent my axle and couldn't continue the race.
How defeated did you feel when that happened? Did you feel like your season was over? Did you feel like you had a good team that was going to get you back out there?
Very defeated because once I knew that axle was bent, I already knew I couldn't get back on track, and I had a four win streak going into that night, and I was hoping for five, but stuff happens. You can't control it.
Yeah, unfortunately, and we don't go out there wanting to wreck, but we all know that is a part of the game. Uh, with you being 11 years old, you guys are planning on traveling next year. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as a driver?
I see myself moving up to the bone stock division once I hit 13 or 14 years old, and then hopefully make my way up to mini stock a couple years after and hope for the best.
Awesome. It's good to have a good head on your shoulders, and it seems like you do. And you want to take that natural progression through the different divisions, moving up. Do you always want to travel, or would you like to keep competing for track championships in the future?
Well, I've already won everything at Peterborough Speedway, so it'd be cool to go win some races at different tracks across Canada, like Sunset or Flamborough, and hopefully go kick some butt there.
I love that. That's awesome, man.
Yep.
So what are your off-season plans? Are you just gonna hang out? You guys gonna start working on the car already? What's kind of the game plan before 2025? You guys hit the track running.
Uh, the game plan is to be fast and be hard to beat out there and create a show for the fans, and hopefully going into 2025 we've got a good fast car and we can go kick some butt.
Now, obviously, with tracks such as Sunset running junior late models, Sauble running junior late models, and Varney, which track are you most looking forward to traveling to next year?
Probably Sunset. It's the closest to where I live right now. Sauble from here, my house, it's 4 hours away, so be a lot of traveling to get to Sauble to
It's
race
a
there.
fun
But
track, I will say that.
yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get there once going into the 2025 season, but I'll mainly be racing at Sunset once I get the car set up for Sunset.
That's all right. Um, it's good that you already wanted to branch out. You want to try out different tracks, which is good. Um, Obviously, going into next year, there's going to be challenges, and what's going to be the biggest challenge you want to face going into next year?
The biggest challenge I want to face is probably some like good drivers, like racing against good drivers. I love a good battle up front, battling for the lead, and hopefully we'll be able to pull off some wins.
That's all right, man. Well, I know the season can be long and grueling, but always fun as well. What, who do you want to thank? It could be your friends, family, could be a family pet, could be an aunt and uncle you see once a year. It could be anybody. But I'm going to give you the next few minutes here to thank all your friends, your family, your sponsors, anyone who's really helped on the car. So the floor is yours, man.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank Who's Farnborough Racing. I'd like to thank Kawartha Outdoor Decor. I'd like to thank Crozier Environmental. I would love to thank Gems Contracting. I would also like to thank Whippy Vision Care and Silver Icing Queens. And special thanks to Ryan Oosterholt, Tyler Betts, GTA, Uncle Bob for all the great videos. So is Strongco 77 for all the videos on YouTube. family, friends, all the racers out there competing for wins, and the fans.
That's awesome, man. I don't think I've ever actually heard someone say thank you to the fans. So I like that you said that because that's good to know. Because especially when you're in victory lane, you always say thank the fans, and no one ever says that on the podcast. So that's awesome. But anyways, man, it's been a blast chatting with you. I hope you enjoy your night. And then good luck next season. We'll be cheering you on. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Second on our list in today's Champions episode, we got the Full Throttle Motor Speedway Fun Stock Champion. We got Austin Etsell join us. Austin, how's it going, man?
Good, you?
Doing really well, man. How's your 2024 season?
Oh, it was a blast. Yeah, it was. There were some ups and downs, but I made it on the upside, so I'll take that.
I mean, winning the championship is pretty nice, that way. That's a nice little staple there.
Yeah, yep.
So I can't remember. Did I have someone already from Full Throttle? No. Yeah, I did. But anyways, I didn't ask Mason this yesterday, but how does Full Throttle Motor Speedway race? What is the racing like at the track?
A big thing with the racing, like, it's a lot of lap traffic. Like, I think there was one race when it was me, Nick, and my dad and Dustin out front, and we were on lap cars in 1 or 2 laps, and like the whole race we were battling in between lap cars. So it's a short and tight track, so you gotta adjust to where other guys are and kind of adjust your line almost every lap. So it's a little bit of a battle sometimes driving there, but it's a lot of fun.
I can imagine. I've been to Full Throttle on a few occasions, and first of all, I'll say this: the racing never ceases to amaze me there. It's a really, really tight track, really banked in the corners. That turn for a wall is scary, and I say that to every single person that comes on. That turn for a wall, I always say, is the scariest turn in all of Ontario racing. How does one navigate, especially if there's a lap car on the inside, how does one navigate being on the outside, passing a car coming up to turn 4 like that?
Sometimes the lap cars are drifting up the track. So if you can see that happening before you go into the corner, you kind of back your corner up a little bit, and then you try to cross that lap car over. But if not, most of them stay down, so you kind of just get as close as you can to the wall going into 4 and kind of get into that middle lane. And once you jam your brake, your car starts to turn for you. And once you get that, then you're already beside the guy and you're passing him around that time. So
yeah, it's such a tough track to navigate. It's
yeah,
it's unreal. But getting back to the season, how overall your season obviously ended on a very, very good note. You cannot go wrong when you're at the end of the year. You're the one who's like, I'm the champion. For anyone who doesn't know, the fun stocks at Full Throttle are exactly like a bone stock or a pure stock at like Flamborough, Delaware, stuff like that, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. I just want to preface that for everyone who's like, what the
Yep.
hell's a fun stock? A fun stock is a bone stock, or what I like to call a mini stock 15 years ago.
Yep.
That's exactly what it was. I'm sorry. But,
Yeah.
the season overall was obviously good. Was there any low points in the season where you're like, man, like, what the hell are we doing each week?
Yeah, that would have been literally the first night of racing. My car,
Oh, no.
in the winter, it just was not running right. Nothing was going right for us. We got it to the track that first week. I forget where we took it for practice. We practiced it. It was fine. The first night of racing, I started like 3rd row, and we got about 5-6 laps in, and something broke, and the car just wouldn't it wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh,
So
jeez.
I pulled off, and yeah, like at that point, I knew I was like, I have no shot at this championship. Like everything's gonna be done because of that. So then we thought we fixed it for the second race, and the same thing happened again. So we went home that weekend, and at that point, my dad was in the lead in the points, and I was like, I'm not gonna catch these guys. Like they're gonna be so far ahead of me. I'm like, it's just gonna be a battle. And then, yeah, that was probably the lowest point in my season this year. But we put a lot of work in that week after that to get it fixed up, and it was ready to go the next weekend.
That's awesome. It's good. I'll say this: it's good when you can get those gremlins out of the way at the beginning of the season because you don't want them happening when it counts. Because you want that momentum, you want the consistency. I'll say this: you're allowed one mulligan for a year. You're allowed one night where you just essentially scratch and go like, "Hey, we'll come back," and you use that first race of the year.
Yeah.
So if you had one more bad night, that was it. That's your season right there, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's good though because it shows what a team can do. Heading into championship night, what was your mindset like? How much of a point lead did you have? How confident were you that you're going to, at the end of the night, you were going to be like, you're going to say, I am the 2024 Fun Stock champion?
At a point, I was panicking the whole week before it. I was stressing out because so there was about a 20-point spread between me and third. And
Oh,
there was
wow.
a 10-point spread between me and second. So we were all in range. If one of us or two of us wrecked out, the third place guy would have won. Or if first and third wrecked out, there was so much space that we could have moved there. And luckily, I don't think anything did move there, but yeah, I had a 10-point gap back from Dustin, and he closed it down to a 2-point gap on the last night of racing because we did a 50-lap double point.
Yep.
And so in my mind going into that race, we knew I had to finish 2 spots behind him anymore, and I lost the championship. So the whole race, that was my mindset. I could let 2 guys above me, but they need to pass him if they pass me. And so I was honestly like, I kind of let my driving skill slip away from me because I was worrying so much about the points, which is like a big thing. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like if I'm going to run for a championship another year, that I'm going to not worry and look at the points so much. My crew chief, Lance, he used to race late models back in, I don't even know when, a while ago. And he kept telling me every week, don't worry about the points. It'll happen the way it happens. It'll happen the way it happens. And it happened the right way. So,
Hey, man, you can't go wrong with that. It's good when you got good help in your corner to really be like, this is how good it is, right?
yeah, Lance is our, like, he's the brains of everything. If it wasn't for him, we honestly wouldn't be where we are. But I do have to give a big thanks to my dad and my friend Braden. Those two, when I let features slip away from me winning them, they were there to win those. So it kind of helped me in the points that matter, which I'm kind of lucky for. So that's big on that. That's a good part about our team too. Like they had that chance to win that when I let it slip away. So it kind of helped us out.
Hey, you know what? It's good when you got good help behind you, right? Like on and off the track. So, that's great. Heading into I always say the worst part of the year it's our off season. Some people do other things. Some people you go on vacations. Some people start tearing down the race cars right now and get ready for next year. What are you doing over the off season to kind of either unwind or prepare yourself to go win a back-to-back championship next year?
Right now we're not really doing anything because it's kind of like that 2-week stretch that we just don't really do after we won a championship. But we aren't really tearing anything down this year because right as I won the championship and it was official, we sold my car. Like
Oh, jeez.
10 minutes after the guy was buying it, wanted to buy it 2 weeks before that. We said once the points were done, then we'll give it to you, and he had the money in hand, and we sold it to him. And so now I'm getting a new car, which hopefully will be competitive on the tracks that I'm planning to go to this year.
That was gonna. Thankfully, you led me into that next part. Where are you running next year? Where do you want it? Like, what do you plan on doing next year?
That's the big question. Yeah, I don't know if I want to run for another championship at a different track, or if I kind of want to travel around and see if I can get some podiums or even feature wins at other tracks.
I don't know much, but have you traveled to other tracks and competed on a regular basis, or is there tracks you haven't hit up yet?
I think there's two tracks I haven't went to yet, which is Sunset and Grand Bend.
Okay.
And then I went to Sawville, and I didn't go there on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I went there for the Dash for Cash.
Yep.
Which is the bigger race. And then Sawville, I went to Frosttoberfest this year with pretty much an enduro car. It still held its own though, so I'll give it that. Where else have we went? And then Varney. I went to Delaware, not this past year, the year before that. Yeah, there's only really two tracks that I haven't been to, and I'm on the fence of trying to pick a track between a couple of those and either going to run like a championship at that track, or if I'm gonna try to travel and maybe just win at all of them.
You know what? There ain't nothing. I always say ain't nothing wrong with going out running an outlaw schedule, because then you're not running the same track every week. There's no full-time commitment. Essentially, if you decide, last minute, you're like, we're not going to Flamborough this week. We're gonna take the weekend off. We're gonna go camping. That's the beauty of it, because when you're battling for a championship, especially once those invitational races start popping up, and it's just like, okay, we got a nice big 50-lap invitational for pure stocks or mini stocks with three races left to go in the season. If you're in the thick of things for a championship, you don't want to go, because you don't want to wreck your car to win some money when there's a possibly bigger check coming to you at the end of the year.
Yeah, we with the Dash, at that point, I think I was in second in points, and we were super close, and we were like on the fence. We're like, should we go? Should we go? And then we're like, last minute, we're like, oh, we'll go. And I think me and my dad finished second and third. I was lucky, so there was a red flag that came out, and a bunch of guys stopped right away, and they partially hit the guy in front of me. I kind of swerved off the last minute, but in my mind, things when I hit something, it messes with my head. So, and it messes with my driving and everything. So I pulled off the track under the caution, like 2 cautions after that, and I drove up from 17th to 2nd, which I think honestly that just set my mind to really just stop worrying about the points and just drive your race and you'll be good. And that's what I did for the rest of the year, and I won the championship because of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys did finish second and third. While we were talking, I brought it up on Race Monitor to confirm that there. You know what? I'm already working on a list for next year's guests. Would love to bring you back on, talk more racing. Find out how you got involved, because there's always good stories behind that. But I would love to extend an open invitation to you to come on next year on the show, if you're up for it. You can say no. I'm not just saying.
I'd be glad to come back.
But before we let you go, there's some people you'll need to thank, because they're the ones who supported you throughout the 2024 season, and who's made the season what it is. So for the next few minutes, you will be given the time to thank everyone and anyone. It could be a family friend, could be a that you met once when you were 2 years old, and your parents are going to insist that they have to come to your wedding. It could be a family dog for that was your great grandfather's. Could be anybody, but yeah, you could thank all your friends, family, sponsors. The time, this is your time. So go ahead.
First, the biggest thanks is I got to give it to Lance and Kayla. They keep our shops or our cars at the shop every week and all winter too. My mom and dad, I wouldn't race without them. I got to thank all our sponsors, Jim Bowman Remax. He's been with us since we started. Mark Etsell Stables, he's been with us too. Cam's Tire, all these guys have been with us since we've started and they've stuck with us. Paris Medical Center, my grandma. Who else am I forgetting? Spring Forward Health, Miles Ahead Sports Fishing. I think that's it for sponsors. And then I got to thank a couple of my buddies. Braden Zammit, he was one of my teammates. He's helped me when like I said earlier, when I threw away some features that I should have won. He was there to win them. I got to thank Brady Cox. He was the one that pushed me to get past like 3 cars at Sauble. I also got to thank Cam Thompson. He pushed me past my dad to get into second at Sauble. I got to thank my dad for like what he's done this year. I'm going to give a big thanks to Dustin. He ran me clean all year. And then, yeah, I just got to give a big thanks to Lowball Racing, which is our team. We've started off really small, and then we kind of made our way up, and now we're winning. Well, not winning, but getting close to winning those big races like the Dash and stuff like that.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Who knows? Maybe next year. I always say, it sucks to say because we can't have too many race cars, but like nothing wrong with building a second one just to take for invitationals. Just saying.
Yeah, we honestly, if we had the time, we would have enough cars to do that for almost all our drivers because we have like way too many Cobalts right now. Like now that we sold 3 of our cars this year.
Oh jeez. I would say you'll have a problem, but one of my best friends has 5 of them. I think 6 actually now. So I can't say anything.
Yeah, we started off with 12 and then
holy.
Yeah, because we kept getting them really cheap. So we just kept taking them and we built 2 cars right before the season started. And both of them are already gone. And then, and now we're just building the same cars as my dad that he has right now, which should be competitive at every track that we know of right now. But we'll get a better idea if we race at those tracks. But we bought a little too many cars at the start, but we're getting rid of some of them now, so a little bit better.
Hey, that's all right. Well, Austin, it's been an absolute blast having you on. Like I said, we'll have to you have an open invitation to come on next year. We'd love to chat about how you got involved and we'll see how many damn Cobalt y'all have before the start of next season. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right, man. Go enjoy the rest of your night, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Next up on our Champions episode, we're joined by the Peterborough Speedway Late Model Champion. We got Ryan Kimball joining us. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you.
How was your 2024 season?
24 season was pretty good. We ended up capitalizing, getting our second championship, Peterborough Speedway, 2 in a row there. First time Liuna, having Liuna on board. Normal sponsors came back, JBEX Construction, Crow's Gas and whatnot. So, we've sort of branched away from the APC tour there. Missed parts about it. Don't miss the long drives and the long days or whatnot, but miss the competition, miss the dynamic of the races and whatnot. But no, we're just doing a low key sort of thing and doing our thing at Peterborough. And our main success was try to win the ACC there, and came up a little short. We qualified on the pole with a pretty good lap and had really good speed all day, and unfortunately, didn't get aggressive enough there to get the lead back with 10 to go, and put myself in predicament to be on the outside there on the last restart. And still a little disappointed. Got a lot of damage there. I'm pretty disappointed in one of my competitors. We had a tough season with him, battling back and forth, which, was a 71 car. A lot of respect for him and whatnot, are used to, or we just, one of those things. I find I race him a lot cleaner than he races me. And it just, it was a tough pill to swallow when we, had the car to win. And, you know what? Gressel got me at, that last restart there. We had some, little bit of games. The 39 ended up going on the outside of us, and we were rolling through 3 in there and picking up the green, and he smoked my right front tire, and I just thought, okay, it's going to be one of these type. And then he ended up going to the back, and then Gressel went on the outside of us there. And then, I got a great relationship with Gressel. We had some beers at the end of the night, and he just plain schooled me off the start. He unfortunately, I should have known my competitor a little better. He had that Ford motor, and I spun the tire a little bit, and he was able to clear me, and I had to hunt him back down. I was all over him. I knew I was going to get him, and I just didn't think about that late race caution or whatnot, right? And then that just sort of messed us up on the outside. And then obviously would have had to get back to the bottom, sort of thing, right? So just made a mistake there, and ended up being a costly mistake, and losing the event / coming home with a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part when you're battling hard like that, you're going to end up with damage sometimes. But you know what? It's good that you're able to have a few beers with Gressel at the end of the night, talk about the race. And it sucks when, I hate seeing late race cautions that kind of screw up the dominant car. Because you never want to see a caution kind of manipulate the race, but cautions happen in racing all the time, and that's just it's a racing thing. Getting back to the 2024 season overall, of course, Leona jumped on board with you. I was stoked when I heard that they were jumping on board with you. I was like, yes, I've watched you for a few years now, and I'm like, man, this guy's, you're a solid race car driver. I've watched you, on the APC tour. I've watched whenever I've come up to, if I've caught you at the same track I've been at, kind of thing. And you've always raced really well, and I've really enjoyed watching you over the last few years. And you said you missed the competition from the APC series. You raced in that division in the series, for a couple seasons, and of course stepping back and competing at Peterborough Speedway full time. What was your decision in chasing it down a track championship instead of an APC championship?
Yeah, so basically, the APC thing there, it just sort of, I shouldn't say it aged us or whatnot. I mean, it's great for the young guys and whatnot, but I've raced steady for, next year I'll be going on 26 years straight, right? There's no,
wow.
There's no gap. A lot of guys will, get in it to 5-6 years and get out of it for a few years. We're 26 years straight, and I had a great relationship with Sean Grossman at SMG Motorsports. And, we did that stint with the APC, and I loved every bit of it. Don't have a huge crew. Me and Graham was basically doing everything. We were sort of an outsider going with the Furies and stuff like that. And then we built a relationship with McCall. And I just think, I think we were able to say we did it when, when it was really, really good. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it now, but I mean, you had your Priticos, you had your J.R. Fitzpatricks, and, there's a lot of other drivers, and, that have slowly got out of it in the past couple of years, right? And, almost 2 years, really, right? So they're not quite getting the car counts that they used to get. I remember when we went to Sunset, I think it was 4 years ago, I think there was 32 cars, right? I mean, we went through a B main, and I mean, when you say 32 cars, this is like 28 of, stout equipment, right?
Yeah.
So it's, it really just, when you're able to qualify up front or even make the show and stuff like that, it really shows, the dynamic of your team and whatnot. So, yeah, I miss certain things like that. I miss Sauble and getting back to Gressel. Yeah, I got a great relationship with them. They parked right beside us. It was funny because they did their first practice and they were struggling. They were bottoming out in their car and they were hitting the tire, and we gave some suggestions and where their tire was hitting and how this tire works, because they're used to the American Racer compared to the Hoosier and how much it flexes and whatnot. So it was sort of funny when he was able to win, and we were like, oh, like, what the hell were we doing trying to help you and whatnot? But it was great to see, because even when I got wrecked, I got right up on the radio, and I was actually pitted beside them, and I basically told them, how to, sort of do this restart. Not like Gressel needs it or whatnot. Got on the radio to one of their guys and told Gressel how to start the start, because McCaddy was starting, and I've had multiple starts with McCaddy, and he's aggressive and he wants to win and whatnot. So I wanted to see the 81 get the win, right? So
Yeah, it's great when you have, it's kind of funny that you were trying to give him a helping hand, and but I feel like that's the thing that's needed in the sports, though. Sometimes, of course, top-notch drivers will always figure something out, but it's always good when, like, a local, like, let's just say you are a local to Peterborough. You're just like, hey, like, this is what you need to do, kind of thing, and it's good when it kind of pans out, right?
oh yeah, and I always look at the favor will be returned, and what we learned from that tire and stuff. I didn't want to see him struggling, and he was struggling in practice, right? And we ended up giving him some wheel spacers so he could make it out to the next practice, because I just said, if not, you're gonna blow that tire, right? And we marked the tire, and we ended up getting him some wheel spacers and whatnot, and he was able to continue. If he's gonna have some mechanical issues, that obviously means he can't get the car tuned in and whatnot. And he was able to congratulations to them, pick up the win. I don't believe he had the fastest car. He he ended up being up in the wall at one point and qualified like 8th or so, whatever. And he had, it looked like he had like 3rd place, 4th place car. But Peterborough's a unique track, right? You just got to be at the right time at the right time. And unfortunately, at that one last restart, I wasn't in the right place at the right time. So it just, the racing gods weren't with us.
Yeah. And, with Peterborough being named, Canada's toughest 3rd mile, it does provide a unique style of racing out there. We've heard time and time again, the bumps through 1 and 2 are like nothing like anything you've ever come across. What's the surface like for you in a late model at the track?
The bumps aren't really as, necessarily as bad to me. I mean, I find we set up the car to work with it. It's just, something about that second groove, man. When you get pushed up there, there's just no grip. I mean, you can be, and what frustrated was about that was, like that whole race, it was sort of like me and McCaddy were almost like a straightaway ahead, and we got that, kudos to Dale Shaw. Like I said when we had that intermission there and that stop, I said, I need to send, appreciate to him, like, because I'm good enough to be able to roll through the center, and I could see where his car was braking, and he was letting me in. Was he letting me in because he knew I was a little quicker? Was he letting me in because he didn't want to be in second in case caution come out and want to be out on the outside? It really doesn't matter, right? And it was one of those things when I rolled on the second, I knew McCaddy would be aggressive, but I just, the other guys that were just, basically pushing me up and whatnot. I get it. It's the Peterborough thing, and there's 10 to go and whatnot, but it's frustrating too. I'm sort of old school. It's like, if I wasn't anywhere near you the whole race, what makes it think I'm going to be able to get you? And then I'm, say they would have got by me or whatnot, maybe a lap or two, and you got back to the bottom, you're most likely going to root them out of the way and go by them again, right? I'm a little different, as in, like, if I didn't have anything for you the whole day, I'm probably going to do a little bit of a lift and just let you in, sort of thing, right? But it just didn't work out that way. Everybody gets aggressive and hungry for the last race there, so we'll put it behind us and we'll move on.
And moving on here, we're playing on those ending words there. We're into the off season. It's probably one of the longest off seasons in racing in general. What do you have planned for the off season?
Well, I was sort of hoping, if we were able to capitalize on that win there, and because we really did a lot of maintenance to the car, and we really did a lot of prep for that race to win it, right? Unfortunately, coming home with a lot of damage, we need a good majority of the body. It sort of got roughed up with, from the driver's side all the way around to the right side, and broke a shock and tie rod and got to check the rack. And so I'll end up likely stripping the car, and we'll go through everything and make sure we're good to go for 2025 in whatever direction we decide to. We'll most likely end up be back at Peterborough. There's going to be some new competitors, and and we'll try to hunt down that other championship or whatnot. And I think there's some new competition coming, but if we don't, then maybe we'll. Dressel's got the sort of the right idea about chasing checkers or whatnot. What he's sort of doing, right? It's sort of interesting too, right? So
Yeah, I was just talking to Austin Etsell just before, and he was saying that that's what they may be deciding to do next year is kind of do an outlaw schedule with their bone stock. What do you, kind of like when you get to pick and choose your own schedule, does that allow you to, obviously it allows more free time or for the most part, but it allows you to prepare, I guess, to go through the car a little more thoroughly before going to a race because you're going to win. You're not going to go settle for second, essentially. What's the mind, like obviously what's the kind of mindset that you go into that with when you want to do like kind of an outlaw schedule, not necessarily run with a series or run a home track?
yeah, crazy part is I've never really done one of those type of schedules. I mean, like I said, this year will be 26, and I've always, if I've committed into something, I've always, chased that championship or not. Like I said, we've got back. I ran Peterborough for 4 years consistently my whole life, and every year that I've been there, I've won a championship, right? So,
Oh, wow.
back from Thundercar, and I went back in 2014 in my limited, and the first year there won the championship, and then this year and then last year was a consistent because we got out of the APC. But other than that, I've done a full season at Sunset and full season at Mosport and Kawartha and back in the day, and I've always stuck with it. But we're slowly looking at maybe trying something else. But because I enjoy getting up to Sunset, and I love Sauble, for example, and we really like Flamborough, and this year is probably the only year that I actually didn't make it to Sunset. Right, I've been to Sunset since like 2010. Right, I won the 2000 Velocity, the first ever Velocity that they ever had. When the first Pro Late Model show was actually we had I think 30 cars there, right? So it was a really good turnout, and Velocity's been going ever since, right?
Oh yeah, and that's one of the premier events. Like I always like Fall Velocity, Frosttoberfest, and then ending the year at Autumn Colors. I think it's just a nice trio of races.
Yeah,
big races to kind of get your racing fix up before we shut her down before the season.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I really wanted to do Flamborough because this year was the first year we haven't done Flamborough in a couple of years, but we had all our eggs in a basket there just to try to get this ACC win, and wanted to make sure everything was right and the car was great. And like I said, we tested the week prior with everybody, and I didn't like the speed we had. So we literally stripped the car in a whole week and went through it all and, made sure everything. We ended up bringing back, a better race car, right? So that's what we like to do, right?
Oh yeah, and that's the whole point is if you're not happy with it, you find the speed that you can and hopefully come back a little bit faster.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we did. A lot of people knew we were there, right? I mean, our qualifying speed was pretty good and our race trim was good. It just didn't pan out that way.
And unfortunately, that's the name of the game, essentially. Sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Before we let you go, we do have to. You have to thank some people because there's a lot of people that help each of you drivers year in and year out. Friends, family, sponsors, they're all a big helping hand. I want to give you the floor right now here for the next few minutes. Thank everyone and anyone who you may have forgotten in the Victory Lane speech and forgot about it. But the floor is yours for the next few minutes to thank everyone.
Yeah, no, first and most important, I want to thank LaUnion for coming on board. I believe they're going to be on board for many years to come, hopefully. JBax Construction, Crow's Gas, obviously GTA Fabricating, one of my best friends there. He's a talented guy. I've been very fortunate to have him as my crew chief for a very long time. my dad that's constantly working in the shop at all times, and and also Sean Grossman at SMG Motorsports. We had a great relationship with SMG Motorsports, and him and I are still like, we're like brothers, right? I mean, I can lean on him, and we can discuss anything and anything to do with cars and whatnot. He's always willing to help out and whatnot too. So he's behind the scenes, where people don't think he is and whatnot. And like I said, I couldn't load these cars up and go racing without them, right? So it's very much appreciated, and it doesn't go unrecognized.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man. But yeah, congratulations on your championship at Peterborough Speedway. Best of luck next year and whatever your plans may unfold. And hopefully, if you do run a full season, hopefully we chat with you again next year at this point.
Okay, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, take care, buddy.
Joining us for our last guest of the night for episode 2 of our Champions episode, we got Matt Langford from Delaware Speedway's Bone Stock division joining us. Matt, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks, John.
Well, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your championship. How did your 2024 season go for you?
Man, it was an awesome season. I mean, we can't complain. Basically, every night we went to the track, we unloaded fast, and we parked the car on the trailer pretty much without a scratch all season long. And out of my 10, 11 years doing this, that's never happened. So,
hey, ain't nothing. You walked away with a championship. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Last year, if I remember correctly, in 2023, you were actually driving. I guess something happened to your car, and you were actually driving a BT racing car.
That would have been the season before. That
2022.
2022, yeah.
Because I remember Chris was telling me, he's like, "Oh, Matt's driving one of our cars." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I had to include you in our list.
It was an old Mike Howard car, the number 3 car, and
Okay.
Chris was nice enough. It was opening night of 2022. Our Nissan Sentra, we were having wheel bearing problems, and we lost 2 in one night. So Chris was nice enough to help us get through the mid part of the season until we could get another build complete, which he helped us with as well. Because that's just the kind of guy Chris is. He helps everybody out.
Oh, absolutely. He's a really good one. I didn't notice until right now you actually have displayed your trophies around you, which is awesome. I know I'm sure a couple of those are from this season at least. Are they all from this season, or?
We had 2 feature wins this season, so no, they're not all from this season.
I love it when I see trophies just sitting in the background. It's awesome.
It's what we work so hard for. So when you get a chance to show them off, I figured, hey, why not?
Hey, you know what? I love it because who was it? We had Roy Wilkie on the earlier this year, and he had everything set up perfectly. He was gonna have every single trophy like sitting behind him. But unfortunately, video didn't work out, so we didn't get it. We didn't get to view that. But overall, 2024 season, hell of a year. 2 feature wins. Obviously, ain't nothing to scoff about. And of course, one of the things that we love to say is wins don't win championships. It's the consistency. So clearly, you are a consistent driver week in and week out.
Yeah, that's kind of the formula. If you want to be involved to compete for a championship, is stack up those top 5s and 10s, and if you're in it at the end of the race, then you're going to have a chance. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say funny part because it sucks, but this year on championship night, which was at the Pumpkin Smasher, if I remember correctly, someone else was told that he was the champion, and then there was a clarification afterwards.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a confusion, just an honest mistake by Delaware, and Jeremiah Rabideau, the number 5 car, he's a class act, great competitor. He's pretty much the guy to beat week in and week out. We ended the season in a tie, and the tiebreaker was wins, which Jeremiah had 4 wins, and I only had 2. So he had won officially at the last night. And again, everybody's human. Delaware has made small mistakes before with the points. I'm not blaming anybody. So we just decided to do our due diligence and just double check things, right? So we double checked things and found out that they had just made a small mistake and hadn't given us a point for a disqualification. So that ended up tipping it to we won the championship by 1 point. And again, it sucks for all. We didn't get the championship. Jeremiah got it stripped from him. And in the end, I just want to move forward. I'm glad that the right decision was made. And again, honest mistake made. So no hard feelings on my part.
Absolutely. Just an honest mistake. What was that like, though, when everything settled and, you were told you were the champion? What did that feel like for you?
It was different. This being our second championship, it felt different than the first one that I won. So, we didn't get to celebrate in front of the fans and thank our sponsors and everything. But in the end, we knew that we won the championship fair and square. So it took a couple days to set in. And I think tomorrow after the banquet, I think it'll really set in then. So
I was about to say, I thought I heard that the Delaware banquet was this coming Friday night, which is obviously going to be great because then you're going to be in front of everyone. And you're going to be able to thank all your fans, your family, your friends, your sponsors, in front of everybody, which is going to be really, really good. And I hope, first of all, you have yourself a great night because I hear those things are pretty fun to go to.
They're a blast. I think this will be my 9th or 10th Delaware banquet, and yeah, those guys know how to throw a party. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. It's good. It's nice to be a party, a celebration to end the year, right?
All the hard work that we put in with our crew guys and our family members, it's nice to be able to get them out for a night to relax and, reminisce of the season and just kind of share some stories and just close off 2024 with a good night. So
absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And of course, we're capping off the 2024 season, which means we go into our off season. What do you have planned in the upcoming off season?
There's always lots of rumors flying around. We're getting a late model. We're getting a super stock. John, listen, I would love to move up in a series, but it takes a lot of financial commitment. We do have good sponsors, but it's a bit of a jump from where I'd want to go from Bone Stock, which I think would maybe be a super stock or possibly the Ontario Sportsman Series. I really like that series. But the reason why I stay with the Bone Stock is because there's 50 cars there basically every night. You got to be on your game. I have a ton of fun. They say it's an entry-level division, which it is. But at the same time, I'm out there competing against APC champions like Joe Lawrence or guys like Jeremiah Rabideau. I think he's won maybe 14 races in the last 3 years. So, I mean, there is so much tough competition. And then you go into some of the younger guys. Like you got Donovan Clark. He's such a good driver, class act. You got Adam Genru in the 25. He has really improved over the last couple years. You got Jessie Howard. Man, I think she's going to be a force to reckon with in the future. So it's so much fun, and it's so hard to leave that class. But if I did get an opportunity, I would entertain it.
Absolutely. Anyone would. I mean, hell, get a chance to move up, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But of course, I get where you're coming from. When you go to Delaware Speedway, you have to bring your stuff because it does remind a lot of people of years past when, you're bringing 50 cars for one class. That's unheard of nowadays because, financial situations, stuff like that. But the Bone Stocks at Delaware have put on a fantastic program, a fantastic show week in and week out. And of course, I got to thank Rogers TV London for bringing that to people like myself because I'm all the way over in Brampton.
Yep.
I can't just jump on I could just jump on the 401 and go down, but it's like 3 hour drive for me to go, or like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So
the last 3 or 4 years, I think it is that Rogers has been running that program. It's great. Like pretty much every week after we finish, we'll come back, and that's the first thing I do is I want to watch the races and maybe see if I made a mistake or see if there's something else I can pick up off somebody else. It's great, and it broadens the horizons to some people such as yourself that they might not be able to see the race, or they might not even know Delaware Speedway exists. So more people that can get our sport out there to the masses, I'm for.
Oh, 100%. And like, I love it. I did get to Delaware this year, thankfully, but it was the first race of the year. But I do love Delaware. I used to go there in 2012 2009, 2010 full time when I was with crewing for David Elliott in the late models.
Okay. Yep.
So I love Delaware. Delaware's, Friday nights I got picked up at like 2:00 in the afternoon from school in Guelph, headed on down. The fact I got to miss school and then I didn't get home till 2 a.m. It was the best time. So Delaware holds a special place in my heart and always will. And I'm thankful that Rogers TV has been able to come and bring that home to me because I can't always make it out. So, it's great because then I could watch drivers like you because I can't tell you how many times I watched this year and all I ever heard all season when I looked up was Matt Langford and Jeremiah Rabideau. Like that, those are the two names I heard consistently in every broadcast when the Bone Stocks were on. So I know, like, man, these guys are doing something right.
Yeah. Like I said before, it was pretty much a storybook season for us. I think we had 12 top 10s and 9 top 5s and 2 feature wins. So just like I said, the secret to win championships is you have to be consistent. You have to be there in the end. And with the Bone Stock class, it does come into play. If you win too much, there is a weight rule. They'll add weight to your car. So there's kind of a fine balance on how much you win and how much weight are you wanting to add to your car.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like a lot of tracks have gone to that rule as well, which is good because it kind of keeps you guys honest as well.
For sure, and it gives other guys and girls a chance to compete as well, which that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed this season is helping some of the younger racers out. And, if I can help them out, give them a tip or a setup tip, a driving tip, if I can help make the competition better, it's better for everybody.
Absolutely. Which is what we need to see, especially in a division like the Bone Stocks, because everyone's out there essentially just going to have fun. No one's going to be offered a ride to drive for Rick Hendrick after 1 week there.
You're not going to run the Daytona next week for the Bone Stock race. But the 3 C's keep me coming back, and that's the cars, the competition, and the camaraderie. It's just you're out there fiercely competing against each other week after week. But if you were to wreck your car, myself or Chris or whoever, they would run over, help you fix your car, give whatever you need to get back out there. So it's such a family feeling when you're at the track.
Which is what a lot of people miss to realize as well, is that racers, I always joke saying, some of my best friends are my summer friends because they're racers. And the only time I get to see them is at the racetrack.
Yeah.
And there ain't nothing wrong with because if people have your back at the track, I find it makes the racing that much better.
Oh, for sure. And a lot of the relationships that I've developed at the track have turned into, relationships off the track, which I cherish greatly. So.
And that's obviously amazing when you can move from on track to off track, meet up with a fellow competitor, go have a beer or two one night, right?
Yeah. Which I'm going to try to do this season a little bit more because Chris does give me grief sometimes about, hey, you only come around in the summertime. So I'll try to make a few more trips out there to see.
Well, hopefully you do, man. I do have to thank you for taking the time out of your night to join us. I would like to have an open invitation for you to come back for a full episode. Would love to deep dive into your racing career and love to talk more racing for you because I can tell you're passionate. But I would love to have you back on for a full episode if you're interested next year.
I think that'd be a great idea, John. I can't wait.
I will email you after this, and we'll keep in touch throughout the winter. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, and thank you very much for everything that you do for the racing community, and getting our names out there. I know you do a lot, and if I could just take a quick second and thank my sponsors, I'd love to thank LiUNA 1059. They've been a part of our program for the last 5 years. They're so influential, and they're able to help us keep a little bit of financial stability, which in racing is huge, even at our level. I've got to thank Bob Martin's Golf Range. He's been on board for the last couple of years and a part of Delaware Speedway for a long time. So it's been a pleasure to have Bob on board. And just a thanks to all my crew and my dad for I'm just the guy that gets to go out and have fun. Those guys put in all the hard work, so thanks goes to them.
What's funny is you beat me to my favorite line, and that's okay. but it's great when you got good support, good crew behind you. And that's awesome, man. Congratulations on your championship. I look forward to keeping in touch with you over the winter. Enjoy your off season, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks, John. Take care.
You too. And that is going to do it for us for episode 2 of our Champions episode. I'm having so much fun doing these. It's nice to be able to talk to these drivers and get to know a little bit more about them, what they're up to, kind of what their game plans are, and kind of how their seasons are. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's like I said, this is one of my favorite things. We're halfway home with our Champions episode. We got 2 more to go. We hope you guys come back. Stay tuned for the next installment of True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving with Haley's Champions episode. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Go over to joemedia.ca. Go watch us there. Got a lot of great content coming out in the next few weeks. Again, if you're also looking for promotions for your 2025 season, go over to joemedia.ca, click the promotions tab, see what we can do to help out your racing program for 2025. We even got a giveaway going on it for any drivers who are signed before December 31st. You will be entered into winning a free pair of custom gloves from our newest sponsor, DJD Gear. Darren Dryden does amazing work. We're partnering with him for a few projects over the off season, which is going to help elevate Joe Media Promotion. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. If you're a company or would like to support Joe Media Promotions as a marketing partner, we'd love to chat with you as well. You guys can email me at jomopromos@gmail.com, jomopromos@gmail.com, or go over to our homepage on joemedia.ca. We've got a contacts page right at the bottom. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. But that's going to do it for us for this part 2 of the Champions episode. Like I said, follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys also subscribe to us on all major podcasting platforms, including YouTube, because we also do the video. Enjoy. We'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see y'all later. Bye now.
Feel the vibe going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car soon